Today, we explore a pivotal chapter in world history, the post-Suleiman era of the Ottoman Empire, a period marked by succession, internal challenges, and the gradual shift of power within one of history's most formidable empires. When Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent passed away in 1566, the Ottoman Empire had reached the peak of its military, cultural, and administrative achievements. Known for his visionary leadership, Suleiman had expanded the empire across three continents, establishing a golden age of governance, law, and architecture. His death, however, signaled the beginning of a complex period that would test the very foundations of the empire he had strengthened over decades. Selim the Teki, Suleiman's son, assumed the throne after his father's death. Unlike his predecessor, Selim II lacked the energy, political acumen, and military expertise that had characterized Suleiman's rule. Historians often describe this period as one in which the empire's momentum slowed, not because the foundations were weak, but because leadership had shifted to a ruler less inclined to active engagement in state affairs. The Sultan's preference for leisure over active governance marked a turning point for the central authority of the empire. One of the most significant internal challenges during Selim II's reign was the rise of palace corruption. As the Sultan delegated authority to a growing number of bureaucrats, many officials began to prioritize personal gain over the welfare of the state. Positions within the palace and government, once earned through merit, increasingly became opportunities for bribery, favoritism, and nepotism. This growing corruption undermined administrative efficiency and created a sense of instability within the court. Another critical factor that weakened the empire was the practice of confining princes, or royal heirs, to prevent conflicts over succession. Known historically as the kafes system, this practice was intended to maintain stability and prevent civil wars among potential heirs. In reality, however, it had profound long-term consequences. Princes who were confined from a young age often grew up with little political experience, limited exposure to governance, and inadequate preparation for leadership. As a result, when they eventually ascended the throne, they were less capable of handling the complexities of the empire, leaving room for inefficiency, mismanagement, and internal power struggles. Economically, the empire continued to benefit from trade, agriculture, and taxation systems established under Suleiman, but internal inefficiencies began to erode these advantages. Corruption in provincial administration often meant that tax revenues were siphoned off before reaching the central treasury. Similarly, the empire's reliance on outdated military strategies and slow adoption of new technologies reduced its ability to maintain dominance in both Europe and the Mediterranean. Despite these challenges, the Ottoman Empire retained considerable influence. Its territories spanned from North Africa to the Arabian Peninsula and included key regions in the Balkans and Anatolia. The empire's legacy of law, architecture, and culture continued to flourish even amid leadership weaknesses. However, the cracks were evident. While Selim II was a more passive ruler, ambitious officials, local governors, and military leaders began to exploit opportunities for personal gain, creating a patchwork of power within the empire. The post-Suleiman era also set the stage for growing European competition. As the Ottoman Empire's central authority waned, European powers increasingly tested Ottoman dominance in trade, diplomacy, and military affairs. The empire faced new naval challenges, shifting alliances, and the gradual encroachment of European influence in regions once firmly under Ottoman control. These pressures would grow in the centuries to follow, marking the beginning of a slow but steady decline in Ottoman power. One striking aspect of this period is the human dimension. The lives of those within the palace walls were shaped by political maneuvering, intrigue, and personal ambition. Courtiers, ministers, and officials navigated a complex web of loyalty, rivalry, and influence, all while trying to maintain the stability of the empire. This human element, often overlooked in broad historical narratives, played a crucial role in both the resilience and vulnerability of Ottoman governance during this transitional period. In summary, the era following Suleiman the Magnificent's death was a time of both opportunity and risk for the Ottoman Empire. Selim II's reign, while less dynamic than his father's, highlighted the challenges inherent in maintaining a vast multi-continental empire. Corruption in the palace, the confinement of princes, and the growing independence of provincial governors collectively weakened central authority, setting the stage for future struggles. Yet, the empire's enduring institutions, cultural achievements, and strategic importance ensured that it remained a formidable power for centuries to come.